Made and sealed with love, but time to battle, I'll find them all. I felt the whips and remember chains, but my sword has been forged by my father's flames. Fight your fears and heal your pain, and victory will be in your name.
I used to be weak, but I'm not weak no more. I found the strength of my ancestors deep down in my African core. I used to be frightened, I'm not afraid no more. The Father blessed me with the heart of a lion and a warrior soul. So no weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that war they shall never win. Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer, yes I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer, rise up and conquer them. Tell them no retreat, no surrender. I shall fight till the end of days. I was born as a Makai warrior, and the Almighty God my blade. Fire burn all Satan carrier. Father loose all shackles and chain. This morning first thing as I wake up, King David tells Sam to the brain. Don't let your courage go down, keep it up. And if your heart rip up and stitch it up, don't let your faith them fall, pick it up. When my cup was empty, God fill it up. Don't take the devil contract, rip it up. And if your bad mind people to go meet it up, pass me the Congo drum and let me beat it up. God on my side, me no give it. So no weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that war they shall never win. Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer, yes I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer, rise up and conquer them. Thank you, Father. I want to say thank you, Lord. You are everything, Father. Thank you. Father, you alone shall guide me. No man shall lead my path. In the wind I hear your quiet whispers, and you heal my broken heart. Even some of my friends turn enemies, and they pray for right to feel. And remember you gave us your only begotten son, but we gave him the wound of lies. Send down your warriors with the hello, they carry down to the end of days. No matter how the devil try trick me, unto you my soul I will give. Father, I know this time is coming, I can see the high tide raise. Without you there is no other. Could it be that we decide? No weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that war they shall never win. Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer, yes I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer, rise up and conquer them. I am a man, I am a champion, I am a warrior. So who are you to tell me that I cannot make? Who are you to tell me that I am not the greatest thing that God ever created?
Good morning, Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada. A very special good morning to those of you joining us on the various radio stations, 97.5 CitysoundFM, 89.5 CRFM, 91.9 and 91.5 RealFM Radio, 92.9 Sister Mile Radio broadcasting from Hillsborough, Carriacou, and of course 94.9 for those of you in the diaspora, coming out of We Noise Radio in Brooklyn, New York. Of course, good morning to those of you on the live video stream, whether it's on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, wherever you are joining us from. Good morning to you. It is what today is, Mr. Bola? Wednesday? It's a beautiful Wednesday morning. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning in the Spice Isle of Grenada. And of course, good morning to you, Mr. Bola.
Good morning to you, Ms. Duncan, and good morning to all our worthy listeners out there who are tuned in to Hard Talk. If you have a neighbor, a friend, or someone you know who normally would tune in, please give them a call. Let them know that Hard Talk is on. This morning, we were off on Monday due to some unforeseen circumstances. Yesterday was the normal Tuesday post-cabinet press briefing. So, actually, the middle of the week, Wednesday, some people call it retro Wednesday.
Oh,
back
really?
in times, reminiscing. Getting to the middle of the week, you're thankful for what you have already lived and you're hopeful for what is to come. So, some people just relaxed a little bit. Be that as it may, it's the first day for this week that we are on, and we are happy to be. And so we hope that those who have missed us for the last 2 days would know that we are on. Join us by whatever means you're accustomed joining. We have good information that we want to share with you today, as we normally does. And so I just want to wish every single person health, strength, and good life. And of course, in whatever you're doing, despite the fact that you want to reminisce, today being midweek, you should still try to be productive. Every single day of our lives, we need to produce, because every single day of our lives, we use whatever is being made available to us. And when I say use, I'm not just talking about food stuff. I'm not just, there's so many other things that we consume, sometimes unconsciously. The air that we breathe, we utilize the streets on a daily basis without, stopping for a moment to recognize that to maintain and keep the road clean, proper, safe, for vehicular as well as pedestrian travel, someone has to do it. We access the use of the police officers without recognizing that some way, somehow, someone is paying for it. The ambulance services, the hospital services, the telephone services, whatever it is we're using, some way, somehow, someone has made it available for our use. So we too should be producing not only to satisfy ourselves, but to satisfy the community or the business we are operating in, to satisfy the country, and of course, with the aim of trying to make this world a better place.
Absolutely. Now, Mr. Bola, before we begin, of course, we want to say Happy International Nurses Day to all of our nurses and midwives. And of course, they're guided by the theme, A Voice to Lead, a Vision for Future Health Care.
A voice to lead.
A voice to lead, a vision for future health care.
How timely and appropriate such a theme, especially in the times we're living in. The voice of the medical workers, the nurses in particular, to calm the nerves of those who are so worried about whatever ailment or illness they're suffering with, but more importantly, about the dangers of COVID-19. The voices of our nurses would always be listened to by the populace, but also having a vision for future and the health of our people, this generation and the next generation, is so important. Happy International Nurses Day to all nurses, midwives. Some people are just I think they refer to them as homemakers. They're just home, caring for a senior individual, caring for the parents, the grandparents, making sure that they are fed, making sure that the general amenities are provided for them. They too do a very interesting and important bit of service, and they too should be congratulated, even though they are not dressed in white with a little heart. I don't know who invented that little heart that just it's fitted there, and some of the nurses, they have a unique way of putting their hair in a style that causes that little white
like a hat to just
fit nicely. I mean, you people have been doing and giving more than human service to people and to country, and we congratulate you and we say thank you.
Yep, and we know that it's been an increasingly difficult year. Well, over a year for the people in the medical profession, especially nurses and midwives and so on, because they have been dealing with not just the normal ailments that we, the general public, have, but they've been dealing with COVID-19, these difficult circumstances, these new protocols, this new umbrella that they are now working under, having to take all of these things into consideration, getting up every single morning and risking their lives just to ensure that the lives of our family members are kept safe, and that in itself alone deserves all of our thanks and all of our congratulations, and all of our appreciation as well, for the things that they do for us without even taking a second thought. The way that they just put their lives on the line for us without a second thought. And we have to be appreciative. We should be appreciative of that. So we want to say Happy International Nurses Day.
Having said that, Ms. Duncan, it just brings to mind how we sometimes just take everything for granted. How we just believe that, of course, they're paid for what they do, so, it is their job. Of course, it is their job. It is the career path that they chose. But we sometimes must look beyond just the fact that they've been given a monthly salary, or they've been paid by a ministry, by a government, or by an institution. We have to look at the sacrifices that are being made, the commitment to do the job and do it well, the fact that sometimes we, the recipients of the services that they provide, can be very difficult at times to handle. We can create, additional stress and pain and problem for the nurses and the medical team and, the medical fraternity as a whole. And we sometimes do not even stop to think or to recognize and to realize that instead of making life a bit more comfortable and the job a lot easier, we make it 10 times more difficult. But at the same time, we expect professional service from our nurses all the time. And nothing is wrong with that kind of expectation. But we need to know and need to understand as people that we have to continuously be appreciative of what is provided for us. We just can't take for granted because someone is being paid to do a particular task that that is all to it, forgetting. Sometimes some nurses, the hours they have to leave their homes, the times they get up from bed because the shift at a particular station, a particular place starts at a particular time, and transportation issues, the hour they have to get the bus, the distances they walk, the lonely roads that they have to traverse on all by themselves, and the dangers that awaits them on a day-to-day, every morning or every night when they're coming off their shift and having to lime a ride, as we say, beg a ride to get home, because sometimes they're off shifts at a time when the regular public transport system or privately public operated transport system, a little bit tongue twisted to say this one, because we really and truly don't have publicly owned transport system or publicly operated transport system. It's privately owned but publicly operated. So we need really and truly to stop for it. And I hope that today being celebrated as International Nurses Day will be a chance or an opportunity for most of us, or all of us if possible, to reflect for a moment, a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, reflect, stop, think, and really smile, because we want to appreciate how our nurses go above and beyond, like our teachers and several other people and other public servants do. But today we're just focusing on nurses because it is celebrated. Today is being celebrated as International Nurses Day. let's give our nurses what they deserve.
Yes, a big round of applause. I wish I had one. I wish I had one cued to play for them. A big round of applause. Mr. Bola, with that being said, there are some very troubling matters that we do need to discuss today. And of course, we will continue to discuss it because it is of national and of course international importance that we continue to speak about COVID-19, that we continue to speak about vaccination, that we continue to speak about protocols and the importance thereof. There is currently I want to say a flu, but I didn't hear the CMO say flu, so I'm going to say acute respiratory infection. Those were the words that he used. That is currently circulating amongst our youth. There are a lot of adults getting it as well, but it seems like our young people have been coming down with this flu in alarming numbers, very alarming numbers. What I want us to take away from this, Mr. Bola, is that this could have easily been COVID. And I want to put that out there from the very beginning, because we are hearing persons saying all different sorts of things. I've seen people say, oh, well, it's the masks that we're wearing that is causing this and so on and whatnot. It's basically like getting the flu. It's like a common cold. The mask cannot give you a common cold. I mean, I laughed a little bit, chuckled a little bit when I read some of these things because it's. I mean, some of them are just ridiculous, for lack of a better word. But the mask cannot give you a common cold. So it's basically like a common cold, and it can only be spread via droplets, whether it's saliva or nasal fluid that you've gotten on your hands or that you've placed on a surface or so on that has not been cleaned in a timely manner, or your hands have not been sanitized in a timely manner, that has spread from one person to the other. So with that being said, it could have easily been COVID.
Well, the flu or the acute respiratory syndrome, that's how you
infection.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. They are spread similar to the COVID, because the COVID symptoms are very flu-like. This is what we have learned from the time COVID came on the scene. You're correct. It could easily be, but thankfully, I don't think there's any evidence to show that it is
right
at the moment. And in terms of its transmission, the flu transmission is pretty similar to that of COVID. And so that is why we should not take any unnecessary chances. We should all be prepared and obey the protocols, take the necessary precautions to safeguard ourselves, our children, our family. And more importantly, we should all aim to get vaccinated once there isn't any a health issue that debars us from taking the vaccine. There are a lot of theories around. There are a lot of false information. There are a lot of people falsifying facts. 2 days ago, someone called me wanting to verify if it is true that there are 2 people, apparently senior men, in the hospital that are crippled as a result of having taken the vaccine. And I said, but I am not aware of that. I don't work in the hospital, so of course I don't have any first-hand knowledge. But just hearing what you say, I tend not to believe anything like that. I'm not doubting that there may be 2 people in the hospital that might be crippled. I am in no way to doubt whether or not if those 2 people, if they even exist, and they're in the hospital and they're crippled, may have taken the COVID-19 vaccine.
Right.
But what evidence is there to link, to bring a correlation between the individuals, if they even exist, because we're not even sure if that is true.
That is true.
If they even exist, and the vaccine. And then the person said to me, oh, but the information came from a nurse. I say, are you sure about that? Well, look at who told me, and that person told me a nurse told them. A nurse, let's say that nurse, yes. A nurse that works at the hospital. So I said, well, here is what I need you to do for me. One, the person who told you, I'd like to have their name and their contact number. But secondly, can you get to them and ask them to provide us with the name and the contact number of the nurse who told them, so we can start an investigation and do the verification, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And the person said, okay, sure, I'll get back to you, and I'm still waiting. I have not heard anything again. And just before you come in, Ms. Duncan, I said that here with mixed feeling, because I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, false news, or helping to spread or share misinformation. But I just wanted to demonstrate sometimes how things are being shared, sent around, whether by the platforms that are available, by word of mouth, by one person talking to the next, by implicating individuals.
Yeah.
So in the first place, I don't know for a fact if there are any two people, senior male citizens in the hospital who are incapable of walking. Right. That may well be true. You may well have two people. So that part of the information when checked out could be true. Mm-hmm. It may well be true that if they are there, that they did take the vaccine. That could be checked out. Mm-hmm. But have it been checked out that the inability to walk was as a result of the vaccine? And that is what is critical. And like I said to the person, I said, look, people have all kind of ailments. And it has been clearly stated, it was not ambiguous, it's not hidden, that the vaccine that we're taking for the COVID-19 is not to heal all sickness that we had.
Absolutely.
So if we had the common cold before and we take the vaccine, doesn't mean instantly that the common cold will go. Mm-hmm. If you are diabetic or hypertensive, or you have a heart problem, taking the vaccine doesn't cure that. What the vaccine does when you take it is help to build your immune system to make it stronger, much more robust. So should you contract the COVID-19 virus anytime thereafter, your body will be in a much more prepared state to deal with the virus, and the possibility of you getting acutely sick and having to be hospitalized and having to go on ventilators and possibly dying is reduced significantly when you take the vaccine. So for all those who are saying, oh, well, somebody take the vaccine and then they had this or they had that or they had the other, people may have had the underlying factors before, and they speak about that, and that's why they ask people with underlying factors to first check with your medical team or with your doctor, your family doctor, your personal doctor, And for the life of me, I do not understand why. And I went as far as to say to the person, look how quick you are to share such information with me. But there are so many other positive things that are happening, and no one seems to be interested in speaking about it. But the moment we get something that sounds juicy, that feels like it is something that can put a wedge between the encouragement to get vaccinated and the vaccine, we are out there spreading it. We want to call all and sundry. We want to send it on every platform that is available to us without first verifying and checking, whether what we're saying is factual or not.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, Mr. Bola. And the minister has made it very clear that the vaccine does not give us immortality. It doesn't make us immune to all and every disease that is out there. It doesn't fix all of our medical problems once we take it. We still have to try to be healthy.
Yes.
We still have to go to the doctor to check that we don't develop certain cancers. We still have to make sure that we watch our sugar and our salt intake to make sure that we are not hypertensive or that we are not glycemic, or we have to check these things still. COVID-19 vaccine it's not the fix all for everything. It just deals with COVID. So if you know you had a problem before, or as a matter of fact, nobody should be out there saying, that the vaccine caused this in one person or that in the other, because you as an individual don't know what underlying conditions that individual would have had. You do not know that person's medical history. Mind you, the person themselves may not even know that they have underlying conditions. You just don't know. And it is very irresponsible of us as a people to go out there just saying things haphazardly in hopes that it would bring us some sort of self-gratification, Mr. Bola.
Or some kind of justification.
Yes, it would make us feel good because it would discredit something that our government would have said or that a health minister would have said, or it would help us to satisfy whatever qualms we have about taking the vaccine on our own. You know, it's very irresponsible as human beings to do such a thing because you don't understand whose life you're affecting by doing that. Now, these two individuals, if that may be the case, probably never even got close to the vaccine. Maybe those two individuals don't even exist. But somebody somewhere thought that it was necessary, thought that it would give them some sort of, I don't know. What does it give you when you just spread wrong information? What feeling? I doesn't do it, so I don't know. What feeling do you get from doing this kind of things? I would not know, and I'm sure Mr. Bola would know.
Oh, I thought you got the feeling that I would know because I find like you're asking me a question that you can't answer, and I have absolutely no clue.
You wouldn't know either because I'm quite sure that you don't spread false information.
I try my best not to.
You know, how do you just get up one day and you just decide that this is what I'm going to say today, that this is the wrong news that I'm going to spread? How do you feel comfortable, Mr. Bo? I don't understand. How do they feel comfortable picking up the phone after somebody would have told you something that seems a little far-fetched, to call somebody else and spread such information? And then that person too is going to pick up the phone and call somebody else and spread information. Remember last week the word we gave them? Infodemic?
Yeah.
That's a perfect example of infodemic. Spreading information that is in most cases libelous and wrong. Lies, basically. That is defeating the purpose in the midst of a grave situation. COVID-19 is a grave situation. I don't think we understand the gravity. And I mean, some people may be advocating for us to say, okay, well, maybe in order for us to understand, we have to get a few cases and a few people may die. I do not want that for any Grenadian, any person, any family to have to go through that kind of situation to be an example for anybody else. It is not fair. You know, just take India, for example, Mr. Bola, in which they are now saying that the variant that they have found in India is the one to look at, is the one that is most concerning because it has achieved a triple mutation.
They said 15 times.
And
strong.
15 times more transmissible. Yep. I don't think we understand what that means, you know. You know, just recently they reported that because of COVID-19, because of that spread, because of that mutation, because so many people are dying at such an alarming rate in India, you are finding bodies washing up on the shores of their holy river because persons are unable to pay for cremation of those bodies.
But you have some people who are also they have this religious belief. Mm-hmm. No, they are no longer waiting on the health system because the health system is overloaded, it's overwhelmed. They just can't do more. I have seen newscasts with nurses, medical staff, virtually in tears, worried about the fact, and what it brought back to my memory is when the US had the first wrong breakout where some medical staff was virtually helpless, saying that they just don't know. It pains them to see people who need the service, who need the help, a service that they took an oath to do, but they just cannot help. They just can't do no more. They are overwhelmed. So in India, there are some people, because of their religious background, that are going into some rivers to wash themselves with the belief that maybe some miraculous thing can happen, and their children who are taking their parents to some people collapse. They just they are to the point, because you see India's case is so desperate that some people are probably hearing about it, and as you correctly said, not understanding the depth of what is happening.
Yeah.
It's not just the numbers daily that are coming down with the virus, hundreds of thousands, 400,000, 300 plus thousand per day. That's a high number. Over 20 million and counting people have contracted the virus in India so far. But what is even more troubling is the total inability of the health system to deal with those cases. A lot of the deaths that they're having on a daily basis, in fact, one newscast said, I think they are losing every 4 minutes. Yeah. I think it was that every 4 minutes. A person to COVID. Every 4 minutes, someone dies.
Now let's translate that to Grenada. Now, taking into consideration International Nurses Day, we know that most of us in Grenada are close to a nurse, close to a doctor. We are small enough that we could consider ourselves one big family. How would it, let's just take that into consideration, the mental strain that it will put on on the health service, on these nurses, to look at a family member, a neighbor, somebody that has passed and tell them hello by the side of the road, a former patient, somebody that they know, somebody that they usually see every day while they traverse to and from work. Imagine this taking place here in Grenada. Imagine not just the physical strain, but the mental and emotional strain that this is going to put on nurses. And let's translate that into the families that will be affected as a result of that. I don't think we are looking at the gravity of this situation. We're just looking at it from the standpoint that we are currently at 0 cases. Yes, thank you, Jesus. We are currently in Grenada at 0 cases. We can boast about that. But from the time we hear 0, then we start seeing the post shooting up about when will the curfew end and when will we lessen the protocols and when we will. Have you ever seen somebody take away measures that have kept you safe just because you feel that you are safe? So what is going to keep you safe or help you to remain safe if we remove these measures? And I don't think people are using reasoning power. I went to a PTA meeting last week, and the teacher made a very important point. She was speaking in terms of the children and the CPEA coming up and social studies, right? She was saying social studies is not something that you can really teach. It's common sense, and you can't teach common sense. Mr. Bola, as much as you want to try, you cannot teach common sense. People need to learn to reason. People need to learn to look at situations, deduce what is truth from what is untruth, and make a decision based on that, form an opinion based on facts and reasoning. Not just listen to the nonsense that is happening out there, to all of the loud noises that is going on out there, and the noise that is the loudest is the one that you are going to listen to. We have to learn to reason. So she was given the example. A hurricane is coming. There are 4 items to choose. Which ones would you choose? A flashlight, a television, a telephone, and I think was batteries or something along those lines. And she said some of the children chose televisions. So she said she asked them, why would you choose a television in the midst? What she said, firstly, she asked them, what is a hurricane? What does a hurricane do? Then why would you choose a television? Now, once they understood what a hurricane was, once they understood the effects of a hurricane, then they saw that a television during a hurricane is useless. In the same way, as big adults, Mr. Pola, we must sit and understand what COVID-19 is, what COVID-19 can do, and why these protocols are in place, why these things are in place. It is there to keep us safe. And once we have an understanding for it, then we will gain an appreciation for it. Once we have an appreciation for it, it becomes less of a burden. It becomes less of a chore and becomes more of a way of life. And that is how we have to see it. Because I cannot understand. We are looking at a situation where in 12 days, Trinidad has had 55 deaths, Mr. Bola. In 12 days.
India is having 15.
5 deaths.
India is having 15 every hour.
It's unbelievable. And yet we have people here who are so nonchalant. And I will not be the one to say, well, maybe we need to get some COVID to understand, because my family might be the family affected by COVID-19.
Yeah.
So I will never say something like that.
I don't share that principle also. But, from deducing from all that you have just uttered, Ms. Duncan, I think sometimes we just take for granted that all of our people have perfect or reasonably enough good reasoning power, and that they can deduce from all of the noise and some nonsensical things that they read and see fact from fiction. And I don't believe that is the case for everybody. There are those of us who are capable enough, who can do deductive reasoning, who can see or hear something, and without being an expert in the area or in the subject matter, just from normal reasoning power and common sense approach, will not immediately fall to that. Mm-hmm. But we should not take for granted that all of our people have that capability.
Right.
There are many among us who just don't have the level of reasoning, even though, as you call them, big adults. There's some small adults.
Like me, I said small adults.
I don't really know what you are in. I'm very confused. Not too long ago, I heard you refer to yourself as a child. Today, you are a small adult. So I am a little confused. I'd leave you in a certain bracket. And when I have real time, I'll try to investigate and yes, deduce from what I pick up what you really are. But the point is, I believe the authorities, they are doing a very good job. They are doing well, but not well in every single area. Mm-hmm. And I believe in the area of information sharing and reaching people where they are in a simplified way to get them to understand the facts. I think the authorities have not done as well as they should or could be doing. Mm-hmm. I don't want to refer to them as a failure, because to do that is to take away all of the sacrifice and the good things they have done on a day that is dedicated to celebrate the life and work of the nurses. Mm-hmm. I believe the nurses did a tremendously good job from the time we started dealing with that COVID issue in March of 2020 up till today. Some of them have never taken a holiday. They have never taken a day off. They have never called in sick, but they constantly go at it. I mean, they may work by shift, but they are there even when they feel tired, even when they feel confused. They know that they have to be doing something, and they're prepared to do it. And we commend and congratulate them. Absolutely. I think the Ministry of Health, the Minister, the CMO, the other people who have been on the COVID committee, working behind the scenes, who sometimes we don't see on the television, who don't give a report, but who constantly check the facts of what is happening around the world and sits down and do the verification of what they pick up and plan what preventative measures we should implement and so on, and help to adjust the protocols. The police officers, they all do. But I think we need to formulate a way to get to more of our people and to simplify the message and to use examples so that they will have a better and a quicker understanding. The issue of vaccination, it is so important that more of us should be speaking of it more often and getting our people, even though some people have their qualms about it, their disbelief and their mistrust, we are the ones to get them to that point and to that place where they would want to have more trust. I mean, billions of people now, the world over. I think it was on the weekend I learned that the WHO finally approved the CitysoundFM,
Yes.
which is the Chinese
Yes.
version of the vaccine. The Cuban version has been approved now by WHO. I know the Russian, the Sputnik is still under some investigation and testing by the WHO, but there are many countries around the world that are already using it, including Russia itself.
Pfizer has been approved for adolescents.
Okay, so as the days, the weeks, and the months go by, there have been improvements. More and more versions of the vaccine in different countries. So, for example, the US has 3. Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson. We have AstraZeneca in Europe and India and those places. We have CitysoundFM in China. And there's a second one in China as well. I can't remember the name. We have the Sputnik in Russia. We have the Cuban having 2 versions too, and I'm not sure whether it was both or one that was approved by the WHO. There are others that, from my reading, I understand that is still in testing phase and trial phase, because there may be close to about 30 variations of the vaccine, the COVID vaccine. About 6 or 8 or probably 10 of them are presently being used. Some approved by WHO, some just being approved by some countries, because you have countries who decide we are not waiting on WHO. So Iran, for example, did not wait on the WHO approval to start using the Cuban version of the vaccine.
Right.
They took it on, full scale and was using it in Iran. And has been using it. There has been no negative results. As a matter of fact, it has helped the WHO to conclude that it is safe. So there are countries that makes their own decision, and there are those like us in Grenada that says, well, look, we don't have the capability to do our own testing and verification, so we have to wait for the WHO, some international body, to recommend and to say, look, they have done the necessary tests, they have gone through the process, and they have confirmed that that is a good vaccine. But all of that being said, it still takes us back to how some people process information.
Yeah.
And how the authorities, how those of us who have an opportunity for our voices to be heard must package that information for it to be processed by the people who needs it most.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's alarming that the people whom we believe are in the most disastrous state, or are in the most vulnerable state, if that word could be used in that instance, are the ones that are most resistant, because they are so confused, because they lack clarity and the ability to process information quickly and to make rationalized decisions. They get caught up in that web. They get caught up with the level of dis and misinformation that we spread. And, I consider it as being fraudulent on the part of those of us who knows better, who has a better understanding and a better appreciation for purposefully, I believe, in some instances, spread those kind of information that we know are not factual, that are falsified, and we understand that it will interfere with prudent decisions that some people have to make. And so we should not be doing it. And in the words of our Prime Minister, as he said one time, if you decide for whatever reason you're not going to take the vaccine, well, that is your choice. But maybe you should not influence or try to influence another person not to take it, except you have real facts that has been checked out, that has been verified, and you can prove to the individual that based on either the health condition or the age or whatever it is, taking the vaccine will be a risk to them. unless we can do that, I don't think we have that right. I don't think we should anyway. I don't think it is the right thing to do. And so I appeal to people out there who are hearing my voice today, the people who are hearing our voices today, that look, as far as we know, as far as the tests have shown, as far as the trials have shown, as far as the rest of the world understand and has seen from the numbers of people who have already taken the vaccine, America is moving past 200 million people now that has taken the vaccine. The Russians, the Chinese, the Israelites, the Iranians, and I mean all around the world, whether in Canada or England or wherever, they have been taken. But there are some countries who have quite a lot more people who have taken a greater percentage of the population. We have not heard from any of these countries, regionally or internationally, of any severe health effect or any negative health impact or adverse health issues from the populace who have taken the vaccine. So I think we are at a point where we feel as a people who understand and who follows up the international news that it is fairly safe. I have taken both my doses.
Yep.
And I feel fine. I have not had any unusual feelings, ailments, or anything that should cause me a worry. There are those medical experts who never went to medical school, who have never seen what inside a medical book look like, but they can tell you, well, boy, nothing would happen to you now, but give yourself 2 years, give yourself 3 years. From saying that when you take it, this would happen, that would happen, you would turn this, you will change into that, and all those sort of things. And that they're putting a chip in your system to monitor you and all those things. Now suddenly they change to the effect will come down the road 2 to 3 years. Well, 2 to 3 years down the road is another lifetime for me. The Almighty Father has given me thus long to live and has assisted in taking care of me thus far. He will take care of that too. I lay it to his feet and he will take care of it. But I say to people, it is important for us all to take the vaccine.
It is.
It doesn't cure you. And that's an argument that some people bring up. Why should I take it if it's not going to prevent me from getting COVID? You should take it. It doesn't prevent you from getting COVID, but it limits the negative and debilitating effects that the COVID virus would have on your system. But it also gives us an opportunity to get back to some level of normalcy. I know so many people who complain, boy, over the last year, I've not had the opportunity to make a little hangout. I wanted to go to the beach, but because of COVID, I said, let me stay home. I can't go to a little party. I want to go to a wedding or what have you. If more of us are vaccinated, there will be greater leverage for these things to happen.
Absolutely.
What about the people who have not made a day work, have not earned anything to take care of themselves and their families since March from last year?
So true.
Because the sector in which they work, in which they earn their living, is down because of COVID and may never get back up until more of our people are vaccinated and the carriers that will bring the tourists and other people here feel safe that Grenada as a country, as a destination, has done what it is supposed to do, and Grenadians have adhered to the clarion call and taken the vaccine, so cruise ships can now return. Taxi drivers can now own bread again. The vendors of our spices and other trinkets and so can safely say, well, now I can send my children to school easy without any pressure because I can pick up a 50, 100, a 200 US because the ships are coming back in. The restaurant workers can sign themselves and say, no, I can look forward to an income every month to take care of my needs again. The hotels, the farmers and the sector. So it is also of economic importance for us as a people to do that, because we're helping ourselves health-wise, we're helping ourselves and families from a social standpoint, but we're helping our country and our economy to bounce back faster and put people back on the job.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Bola, let's take a short break, and then when we come back, we will be opening the lines so that persons interested in contributing to the conversation can do so, and we can have an open conversation, getting different points and views and opinions about this discussion surrounding COVID-19. We're going to take a short break, guys.
Let this be the start.
Are you gonna wear your mask today? You see everywhere you go, there are rules you got to follow, so don't you say COVID-19 will delay. Take the opportunity to save your community. Hey, are you gonna wear your mask today? You see everywhere you go, there are rules you got to follow, so don't you say COVID-19 will delay. Take the opportunity to save your community. Don't be that guy, put a mask on your face if you're heading outside.
You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada via www.hardtalkgrenada.com.
Decide now to come together and to get a small loan so that this all of us could start to fit off.
Handing over of the boats to some young fishermen is not just symbolic, but it has significant socioeconomic impact for the individuals who are receiving the boats, but also for the community. St. Mark is developing as a significant contributor in the fishing industry. And so I'm very happy today that there are 5 young fishermen who have been awarded this soft loan, and they have embraced it and they're ready to go out. I'm happy to see that. It makes a lot of difference in their individual lives, in the lives of their family, and also for our community. And the impact on our country is significant as well.
And I decide now I wanted to go on my own because we have family to take care of, house to build, and other things to do.
To live here every day, mostly every day, and go in Grenville. And I have to take 3 buses, sometimes you take a little more. Every day you have to do this, but we're thankful, we're grateful for it.
There's a little process that sometimes people find is a bit tedious, but in a loan, there are certain requirements that have to be fulfilled. And once you meet those requirements, then you get the loan.
Yeah, well, I would tell them work hard and see how they will get you the same loan to start off, like how we get it to start off.
And recently, I think over 20 young men from this very parish were trained in captaincy of a boat and so on. So all of these are coming nicely together, and the Ministry of Fisheries would have played their role as well in terms of encouraging young people to get into this industry. It's a great industry. We're grateful to those who have gone before, and we are really blessed to see young men coming in now and taking on that.
The Small Business Development Fund, supporting small businesses.
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.
All right, guys, and we are back. Needed to take a little break there. So we're going to open the lines, Mr. Bola.
Certainly. We want to give people, the public, an opportunity for them to call in to weigh in on the conversation. As we oftentimes say here, we are not the repository of all knowledge and information, and so there's so many people who can share their views, share their thoughts, whether you're for or you're against the vaccine. You may have a good rationale, you may have a good view, and we'd like to share that thought with you, or you would want to share it with the public. So let's do.
And the number to call is 440-7377 if you're calling locally. If you're in the diaspora and you want to give us a call, the number to call is 347-329-3101. We will be more than happy to hear from you. Of course, we have some live video stream comments that we want to share with the general public, but right after we take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Duncan.
Hi.
Good morning, Mr. Buller.
Hi, morning, sir.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Buller, Mr. Duncan.
Yes.
Yesterday morning, we, St. John Northwest Executive, we had a wonderful day, a successful day yesterday morning to about after 2 ministry, where over about 60-something% get vaccinated yesterday.
Okay, great.
Good.
And we are on the drive to make sure, if not 100%, but the majority of people in St. John Northwest get vaccinated. Right? And we have all different age groups, young people, middle age, older than me and you, came out and to get vaccinated.
That's good.
It was successful, and we will continue doing that, able to support it by our parliamentary rep, who's parliamentary rep. And I want to give some information again to the people in the surrounding area, Hatfield, or St. John Northwest in general. The new road that is constructed by BNTF and the government over the Hatfield Secondary School will be officially opening this evening at 5 p.m. We are asking the surrounding, we are inviting the surrounding people in the area to come out to that session to hear what plans the government has for the government of St. John Northwest. So 5 p.m. this afternoon. Thank you.
Great. Thank you too. Thanks, and congrats. There are some villages, there are some people that are organizing. I recall not too long ago, Southwest St. George constituency, they organized together with the nurses at the health center up there, and they did get over 100 people. I don't recall the number, maybe I'm quoting the wrong number, to come out. The community came out, people did, and so there are areas. Apparently, we lost that caller. There was a caller coming in there.
He's there.
Oh, the caller is there?
No.
Yeah.
Seems like we lost him.
Yes, we lost the
We
caller.
do have some comments, Mr. Bull, and I don't want the people on the live to feel left out because they do contribute actively to the conversation as we go along. One person is saying, "Good morning." So right, Mr. Bowler, because the dead cannot. These days, I assume the person wants to say, these days the dead cannot dead in peace without blaming it on COVID-19. Lord help those bearers of false news. Someone is saying, Ms. Duncan, it will be double pressure for the nurses because a lot of them are not vaccinated. I'm not sure if it's a lot of them. I don't know what the numbers are, but there was a statement made by the CMO that some nurses were not getting vaccinated as well. Someone else is saying it is some of the influencers. Someone else is saying from a manufacturer's point of view, there are too many uncertainties concerning the vaccine. Now, is this individual that's commenting, are they a manufacturer of? Because they're saying from a manufacturer's point of view. But
I tend to... I mean, the way it's written, that's what most people will connote from it. But I think that person is saying there's still some concerns.
But further from that, Mr. Bola, and I don't like these kind of statements simply because it doesn't give depth. It doesn't shed light on anything really. It's just a general statement.
It's a generalized statement.
Have uncertainties and concerns.
They should quote what the uncertainties are.
What are those uncertainties?
What is it?
And that's what you do when you share information. And that's why I always say to people, be very careful of the information that you get. Whenever somebody gives you information, they must be able to tell you what those concerns and uncertainties are and why they are concerns and uncertainties. But also, are these concerns coming from unfounded grounded sources, or are they coming from the manufacturers themselves? So you have to kind of be careful when you're sharing information like that, because he sounds like he's speaking on the manufacturer's
behalf. I don't know what he's saying. But anyway.
So be a little bit clearer, the person who made the comment, so that we can identify exactly what those concerns are and who exactly they're coming from. We have a caller on the WhatsApp. Hello, good morning. Hi, good morning. Oh no, it seems like that person lost a little bit of connection there. We have another comment coming in here saying, I am waiting on my second dose on the 24th of June. Excellent. We're always happy to hear when others are getting fully vaccinated. Someone here is saying, I hope good sense will prevail on those who are in doubt about getting vaxxed. It's in everyone's interest, so we will get back to some form of normalcy, and that is really all that it is. If we want to get back to any form of normalcy, whether it is here or internationally, we do need to do our part, get vaccinated, but also encourage the people around us to get vaccinated. If you and 5 other people go out and get vaccinated, that's 5 people,
like 6 people less.
6 people left. And I did some calculation, Mr. Bola, while we were on a break. We want to get 80% of our adult population vaccinated, which would give us a goal of about 68,000 people.
Yes,
right? Currently, there has been 13,744 doses administered, which means, Mr. Bola, that we need to administer 55,056 more doses, and now we're speaking about only single doses, in order to get to half of that goal, right? Well, to get to that goal, to get 80% of them with their first vaccine,
we have to give over 100,000 doses more.
Right.
Because everybody need 2.
Yes. And so
except
so
we
far,
start getting Johnson & Johnson.
Where everybody get one, I know, right? Right now we've had 5,775 people fully vaccinated. I'm proud to say that I contributed to that number.
Well, it's 5,775. I am in the 5.
You know?
The 5,770 went before me.
You went before you.
Yeah, but I'm in the 5.
Yeah,
I'm in that bracket there. Yeah.
So with that number, we need to at least vaccinate 63,000 more people.
Totally. With the
2 doses to get to where we want to be. And Mr. Bola, it's a concern because we have people saying, well, we want to remove the curfew, we want to get back to normal, we want to be able to work, we want our 4%, we want this, we want that. But you can't want if you are not willing to sacrifice. You can't be making demands when governments around the world are saying, well, the only way we can achieve the things that the population is requiring of us is to get vaccinated. It is viewed as our only way out, you know? I don't think governments are willfully saying, get vaccinated because we know you're going to kill all you. Well, when all you're dead, who are we going to govern? Who is going to help drive the economy? Who is going to spend? Who is going to work? I mean, it's just ridiculous to think about. You know, getting vaccinated helps us not only socially, but economically as a country. And individually as well, because some persons, as you said, they haven't worked since March of 2020. Since March of 2020, some individuals have not worked. I recently listened to a clip from Mr. Bola, a journalist, who made a very compelling point as it relates to the 4%. And I don't want to talk 4% today, Mr. Bola, but
a journalist, locally, regionally?
A local journalist who made a very compelling point as it relates to the 4%. And she indicated that we have to look at the situation holistically, because there is the argument that if the 4% is paid, it will help boost the economy, it will help drive the economy. But it would only help drive for 1,000 or so, 2,000 or so people, or how much ever the public service workforce is
the public service is much more than that.
Right.
Because the teachers is About 2,000, between 1,800 2,000. The general public service outside of teachers is another 5,000 or 6,000 people. So we're looking closer to about 8,000 people when you add the police and everybody into that. I believe. I don't have an exact figure, which is something that we should get. We should have a better understanding. We should be able to quote exact figures as to the total number of people in the country that will benefit from the 4% whenever it's been paid. It will be paid. And I think we need to check with the authorities, those who are involved in the negotiations, who may have the information, maybe the Department of Public Administration or something, if they can give us a number, correct number.
But the point that she was making, which was a very salient point, is the fact that it is the taxpayers, we the rest of the population, the spending population that is contributing to that growth in the economy. For that few, the rest of the population will not benefit from that. We are the ones contributing to the 4%. We are not the beneficiaries of that. So whenever these individuals go back and spend into the economy and pay taxes and do what, it goes back into their pockets, because they are spending to raise revenue for the country.
Well, that's a compelling point, but I hope it is not a point being made to justify that the 4% should not be paid. I hope that's not the rationale behind making the point.
I don't think she was saying
I am just saying I hope that is not the rationale behind the point. And now, while I agree that it is a small section of the population that is going to receive the increase, and that the burden has to be shared among all of us in the population who pays our taxes and so, which is factual. And maybe as a result, the more of us who are paying taxes should probably demand a little more from those who will be receiving. But I hope that the intent here is not to be saying or trying to justify that the 4% should not be paid. Because
she was basically saying, and I believe you quoted it nicely, that in order for everyone to benefit, then the public service must be more productive.
Okay. Great. Wonderful.
We have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my sweetheart.
Good morning, Miss Jacob. How are you?
I'm fine indeed. And what about my wonderful, handsome?
Miss Jacob, your handsome brother is right here. He's good. Very well. We're talking vaccination.
Yes,
I know you had both your doses already.
Well, that's what I'm coming to tell you.
Yes.
We are the 5 wise virgins.
Yeah, all right.
But we just had to don't study those foolish ones.
Well, we have to encourage.
When you hear our lad come and knock at the door.
Yes.
And when you hear we open the door, and those 5 ones have to say, "Oh God, give me some, please.
Give me some kerosene. Your lamp has been trimmed and well oiled and ready to light."
You understand?
Yes. Well, much more people should be thinking like you.
Yep.
Thinking that they need to prepare, and that's what getting your vaccination is about.
That's right.
Preparing yourself, preparing your body, preparing your family. Yes. And your community. So if it does come, if we do get a second wave like we see happening in Trinidad and in Jamaica and in Brazil and all of those places, more of us will be more capable of dealing with it and handling it. Less of us will have to end up in hospital. Less problem for the health system. So people just have to get that understanding. But we need to keep preaching it.
Tell them take the vaccine. The vaccine is very good.
Definitely.
From the age of 14.
Yes. Well, let's say 18.
73 years.
Yes. Yes, since you're 14, you're taking vaccine.
That's right. Because you think he had a lot of things in the
Yes, man.
And then the hospital down by the sea.
Yes.
You remember the hospital they had? What was the name of the hospital again?
Don't remember the name, though.
I can't remember the name now, no? Down there used to have those people. And then have this injection. He had a time Hi. That's what I tell all you. Let me tell all you something. I could give all you a full history.
Well, we going to have to give you a day to give us history. Because
a full history.
The phone line blinking.
What with Uncle Gary, yeah?
Yes.
Right. The opposition before. Me, I don't take it that now. I don't take it. Let the Gary take it and dead force. Oh, my God. Eh?
Yeah, well, from time
had no debt in these kind of things.
No. From time memorial.
Just they want to take it.
Yes. Like it is now, we just have some people that are stubborn and they use all kind of issues, political issues, religious issues, all kind of things to not want to do anything.
Trinidad too. Trinidad opposition.
Yes.
Oh my God. They don't nice. They really don't nice.
Okay.
They don't want to wear the mask. They don't want to wash their hand. They're going in a lot of crowd.
Okay.
Eh? I don't tell you what they say. Them say when you see a finish with a gun straight into the other.
Oh my God, we will miss you, girl. But you could don't go now. When the thing cool down and thing get better, go for a vacation and come back. All for now, stay here and stay safe.
Boy, I do that from 1 o'clock until about 10 in the night.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, and you're getting good program and good English.
Okay.
And good language.
Okay.
And everything.
We hear you.
But I love my Prime Minister. Oh my God.
Well, I know you love all them kits and them.
Nice already.
A kit is a kit for you, man. You love them kit and them. I say you love them kit. A kit is a kit for you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Whether it's Kit Mitchell or Kit Rowley, you love them.
Love. I love.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, we have a lot of people trying to get in Miss
So you all have a wonderful and a blessed day, and I want those people go and take the vaccine, please.
Please, that's a good appeal.
The 5
foolish virgin. Yes, be like the 5 wise virgin.
Come for them to get it. They won't get it, and we can't do nothing to help them that time.
Right. Good advice.
Understand me?
Good advice.
Okay, sweetheart, you and my beautiful sister have a beautiful day. God
have a blessed day yourself.
I love you.
Blessed day yourself. We love you too, and thank you for your contribution.
Okay.
Good. Great.
All right. Always a vibrant contributor to conversation. And of course, there is an open discussion happening in the live video concerning the effects of COVID-19 and the vaccination. But we'll get to that as soon as we take this call. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. How are you, sir?
I did.
Good to hear you, man. You take your vaccine?
Yeah?
You take your vaccine yet?
No, sir.
Why not?
I will take it, but I don't quite ready yet.
Hey, well, not you have to ready. It's just
yes, sir. I have to ready.
Just the injection that you put in your arm.
Yes, but I have to ready.
Okay, I hear you.
I ain't see I could just go just so. I had to ready. I had to talk to my master first.
Well, talk to your master, partner. Talk to your master.
Talk to him, and I was now talking to him here.
Okay.
But that's why I come and call.
All right.
Yeah. Let me ask a question.
Uh-huh.
So Forrester will join up with NDC too?
Well, I'm not sure about that. He's on the platform. He speaks on the behalf. So I didn't hear what he said recently, but
I heard him.
Okay.
I heard him last night with some type of nonsense and stupidness.
Okay.
He now know he have a Grenada.
No, I don't think so. I think he knew that long.
I don't believe he know that long. And them respect all you them shit he talking there. Forrester should do better than that.
Well, you know, each man to his order. I guess he has, you know, his own way of seeing things and saying things, and we don't have to accept what he say, but
well, sir, who go ask him that? Not this one that's speaking here.
Yeah, well, you know.
So you know me better than that.
Of course, I know you well enough, and I know that you would not fall for foolishness.
Well, again, how I could fall for this stupid talk on them? And again, the next thing again, the virus and the vaccine and everything. What kind of all stupid propaganda came and all them fellas and them coming out with. I don't feel to call them, you know.
But you can't stop them. That's who they have always been from time memorial. Everything that has to happen in this country, they take it and make a dog play with it. They say all kind of thing, yeah.
What we have to do in this little country, we have to look up to Jesus and ask him to help us.
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Man can help, you know.
We agree to that.
Doctor can even help. Health workers can even help. It's Jesus alone that can help.
Yes, with his mercy and his grace, he used them to help us.
Yeah, but we don't have that in us, only propaganda and wickedness.
Yeah. Well, you know, the same God that helps us all will deal with them in his own timing and in his own way.
Yeah, but the problem is, when he helps those that praying and asking for help, them getting help too.
Well, that's who he is. He's a merciful God. He doesn't punish because you do wrong thing. He forgives you for doing what is wrong.
Yes.
And we need to change and have a better heart, all of us, and lead by example.
Because when he was on the cross with the two thieves,
yes,
one asked for mercy,
yes,
but the other one didn't ask.
The other one say, well, if you is a God, save yourself and save us.
But the other one say, remember him.
Yes. But he forgive him still for that. So, you know, we read the Bible, we understand some of us are religious, others aren't. Yes. So we need to continue to pray for the good people, but pray for the bad ones too, for the wicked ones and for those who are doing the good things.
Well, you know what my spirit telling me right now?
Yes.
This little country need a prayer and fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's something that we should all participate in, you know. Fasting is a good thing for our health.
And the Prime Minister must look into it.
Okay.
Call a day of prayer.
Well, maybe you should tell him that your spirit is leading you to that.
Again, well, if I show it out here, I know he doesn't be listening.
Okay.
He's supposed to hear it.
To hear it, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And anytime I'm chatting with him, I will tell him that too.
Good.
No joke, sir. What I feel it in my spirit, I was telling me, madam, that too.
Yes.
It's prayer this little country need.
He needs prayer. They say prayer move mountains, right?
He will, and he's going to help us. Well, you see, we don't have no COVID here right now.
Yes.
It's not man that causing it don't have here, you know. It's Jesus that doing it work, you know.
Yes.
And Jesus do it work so in a kind of way man does struck.
Well, of course, we can't understand his wisdom.
He's doing certain things for man to understand, and still we don't understand what Jesus is doing. You know?
Yeah.
We're looking up to man. Man is a failure, you know, sir.
Yes.
Because he said it in his word, you know, he regret the day he make man.
He said he regret?
Yes,
do
look
remember.
in the Bible, you will see it.
Well, I got to search the Bible.
I know about that part.
I know he speak a lot of things, but I never see that part yet.
Yeah,
but I go check it. Yes.
He say he's sorry the day he make man.
Yeah.
Because man is so wicked and desperated.
Well, yes, there's a part of the Bible that says man is wicked and desperate.
Well, you didn't see that part there?
No, he says the heart is most sinful.
The heart of man is desperate and wicked.
Yes. Desperate, wicked.
Yes.
But the problem is, we must learn to do better than that.
Yes.
Those that in authority and know the truth must come out with the truth.
Yes.
Too much false propaganda having people worried and afraid and all them type of stupidness. Yeah, a lot of people want to go for the vaccine, you know, sir.
Yes. I hope they will go.
Propaganda alone causing them to hold back, you know.
They need to trust the Lord, pray and ask him for strength and go forward and do what they have to do.
I heard them tell me, madam, and two of us say we go take we own.
Yes.
But the problem is, I just don't ready yet to go for mine.
Okay.
But I will take it.
Okay.
That's the mine I have.
Yes.
I will take it. No
That's
joke.
good.
I will take it.
That's very good.
And when you make up my mind to do something, nobody can stop me.
Yeah.
And what I like is what I like.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So everything all right, by the way?
We're holding on, you know, trying to keep things going and flowing, you know.
So nothing working out with me?
Nothing yet, but, you know, you're not forgotten. You're not forgotten.
I know.
You are a soldier, so.
Yes, I know.
All soldiers will keep their boots on.
I know.
Yeah?
But into this little country need a pray.
Right, so we need to
a pray and fast in this little country.
We need to start individually and then bring it out nationally.
And if you don't hear, well, you could tell him what I say.
Of course, I will do that. That the people are calling for a fast and pray.
Make it give us a day of prayer, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, let me pray. Jesus prayed, move mountain, and Jesus, I didn't pray.
Yes.
If my people which are called by my name.
Yes.
Humble themselves.
Will humble themselves.
Yep.
Yeah, and move away from the wicked ways.
And turn from what? I think that this my whole body gets fever.
Ah, well, the spirit is moving in you. You need to go talk to the Lord, man. Talk to the Lord.
When my blood run cold.
Yes.
So I can't speak again now. So take
Have a good day now. We thank you for your contribution.
Yeah,
great, great. You be good now. Trust God all the time.
Right.
Yes, Mr. Duncan. So, before we got that call there, you was about to share with us some of the conversation
that's happening on the live video. One individual here is saying, good morning. So I took some time to read the report of the cases of people that got severely ill from the vaccines. And no matter how small the risk is, there is a risk that after taking the vaccine, an individual can get very ill and even die. In saying that, there are employers who are saying employees have to be vaccinated or they will lose their jobs. What happens if someone gets severely ill and maybe even die after taking the vaccine? Who is responsible for that person's illness or death? I read, because the individual did post the report that he read, and I read parts of it. Now, first thing that we have to take into consideration, this is a report that was done on the 28th of that covers a period the 9th of December 2020 to April 28, 2021. Yeah. And the report only covers a small group of individuals within the United Kingdom. So it is not fair to really say that the vaccine is killing people, because the report does not say, and I don't even think the report comes from, I've read it, and persons who are on the live and see it can read it themselves as well. But in reading all of these things, I always have to say that we have to take it with a pinch of salt just to make sure that it's coming from a reliable source, one, and that the page is an accredited page as well, because you could pick up anything, put a stamp on it and a logo and call it a page and put whatever information that you want to put here. But in everything that I'm seeing here, I'm seeing things such as anaphylaxis, which is basically an allergic reaction that you get to any medication. It's not just the vaccine, because I had an anaphylactic shock from taking penicillin, you know. So it's not just the vaccine, and we keep saying that. All medication have side effects, and all medication has it listed. Sometimes you open up the paper that comes inside of a box with medication and you see all of the side effects that is there. Sometimes we don't even read it. Sometimes we just throw the box, we throw the paper, and we take the medication. All we want is a relief, right?
And we forget the side effects.
And we forget the side
but
effects.
even in advertising medication, they do tell you about the side effects.
Of course.
And they do tell you if you have certain ailments that you should not, in addition to what you want to cure now, that you should not take.
But of course, Mr. Bola, the box that has cigarette on it says smoking kills.
Yeah.
And people buy cigarette by the hundreds of thousands. So it's not a matter of it's not a matter of if it kills you or if it has side effects, and I don't think that is the problem. I think people are just looking for reasons as to why people should not get vaccinated, and that is a dangerous thing, because we are losing more people every day from COVID-19. And the sad thing is, it is something that can be controlled. It is something that can be tailored. It is something that can be fixed. It is something that we can see a light at the end of the tunnel for. But yet still, we prefer to take our chances with something that will most definitely either kill us or leave us with some sort of debilitating disease as a result of it. Imagine the variant in India, Mr. Bola. The variant in India, they have recognized that persons who have been previously infected with the COVID-19 variant and persons who are currently infected with that variant have been coming down with a fungus a fungus that is lethal. They call it a lethal fungus. Lethal meaning deadly. Lethal meaning that the fungus can kill you, you know. And we have people here saying, oh, well, the vaccine, it can make you a little sick, so it means don't take it. If you read the report, and that's why I tell people, don't read looking for reasons to support your point, but read for understanding. Because the report also gives reasons as to why some people develop thrombosis. Persons who are on birth control, persons who have low blood platelet count. I mean, Mr. Boland, this is only from me skimming through the article. I have not even read it in its entirety yet. But what I want to say to individuals is if you do not understand something yourself, don't share it with anybody else. If you don't understand, unless you are sharing to be educated, then don't share it with anybody else, because your interpretation of something and somebody's interpretation of something may be completely and totally different. Your understanding of things and someone else's understanding of things are completely different. So if you in yourself do not understand what something says, if you have not read something, you know, we're good at reading titles and we don't read the body. We don't know about content. We just know about titles. So we read the title and we say, hey, look, that's it, 10 people dead, you know, after taking the vaccine. You know?
We look at the cover and we don't read
look at what that says, and we quick to share it. But when you go into the to the body of it, you see something that says it has been alleged, or you see something that says nothing has been proven as yet. You see something that says there is no concrete evidence of. You miss all of those keywords.
Or it may say 10 people after using something had died, but the matter is still under investigation.
But the matter is under investigation.
Because the person's died doesn't necessarily mean that it is the thing that they took that is responsible for the death, and they have to investigate it and to show. And there have been several investigations done from the vaccines that have been taken. Johnson & Johnson recently in the US was stopped for a while because a couple of people came down with a strange blood clotting thing, and they had to investigate whether it was the vaccine that caused it, and so they put it on hold for a while, and they investigated and realized
thrombosis is not new to society, and that is why I find it so concerning that all of a sudden everybody feels that the vaccine is what is going to give you thrombosis. Thrombosis is not something that is new. Mr. Bola, I've said this before, and I will continue to say it. We sit every day. We sit on the bus. We sit down on when we get home, we lie down, we get up, we come to work, we sit down again. We hardly ever exercise.
No, you hardly ever exercise.
Me, definitely me do, hardly ever exercise.
So say that about you.
we eat a lot of nonsense. Mr. Bola, the things that we put in our bodies, I know because you always talk about it, but the things that we put in our bodies can also lead to us getting blood clots. It is not something that is new. It is not something that just arise because of
because COVID vaccine came on the scene, blood clot came about.
The funny thing is, some people don't even understand what thrombosis is and how it can come about, but everybody's saying blood clots. They don't know what a blood clot is. They don't know how the blood clot come about. They don't know how long it takes for a blood clot to form, but yet they just, you understand? The reason that these things are so much in the fore is that people are being monitored even more closely now because there is mass vaccination going on. Who is to say that these individuals, if there was no mass vaccination, would not have come down with thrombosis anyway?
Probably die, and people don't even know the reason.
And people would not know the reason.
They die.
And that is why I'm saying sometimes, just sometimes, when we do not understand things ourselves, we should not go about just spreading it with the public, just sharing it with everybody that we know. You know, it is very important that we take everything with a pinch of salt and speak to somebody who can further educate you on the things that you are hoping, and I'm hoping that they want to be educated on it, that you are hoping to be educated about, and stop spreading all of this fear and unwarranted propaganda. I don't understand, Mr. Bola. I cannot. It just baffles me all of the time.
Well, it is
Why?
baffling, but we have to respect the fact that, and I make that point all the time, understanding the reason why some people do some of the things they do will help clear up a lot of this cloudiness that hangs over us.
I agree.
Because there are some people, and I am sold on that fact, that there are some people do what they do not because they are convinced they are either right or wrong about what they're talking about, but because they feel by doing what they do will achieve for them a goal that they have failed to achieve by other means.
Yeah.
So, politically speaking, there are some people who have gone to the polls several times. The people of this country have rejected them, has given a mandate to the New National Party, and they're angry about it.
Yeah.
So they have failed in that, but they think by newsmongering and disinformation and misinformation, they can create, or they may be able to create the kind of chaos that will make people get wary of the fact to say, well, this administration doesn't seem to be able to control the population and to and control in inverted commas here, meaning preventing the kind of chaos and confusion and things like that. And so people start demonstrating, and the country becomes in some manner ungovernable. That is what a lot of them are aiming for. And it is not necessarily because they are convinced or not convinced about the factualness of any given situation. It is just about creating an atmosphere, where chaos will strive, where people will become fed up of the establishment and, start chanting and demonstrating. And so some people, it is what they hope to achieve at the end of the day, is what I believe drives them more than anything else to do some of the things that they do and say some of the things that they say.
Yeah. Guys, we have a short period of time remaining, but remember the lines are open. The number to call is 440-7377 if you are calling locally. And if you are in the diaspora and you want to give us a call, the number to call is 347-3293-101 to contribute to the conversation. Mr. Buddha, we could talk about this heads or tails or upside down, and we will continue to talk about it regardless of the people who feel like we should just let it go. It is important to get vaccinated.
It is.
It is of utmost importance because, to be honest, it is our only chance. Sometimes I listen to some person saying, oh, well, God never put us in a situation and never give us a way out. And I'm looking at these people like, well,
here's your way out.
God has given you a way out. It's just as and I've seen the analogy made so many times. Somebody is ill and they say, Lord, please heal me. Lord, please heal me. Lord, send in doctors. Lord, send in scientists. Lord, send in medication. And they still sit on their body, Lord, please heal me.
Because you see some people, healing for them, and this,
it has to be miraculous.
This biblical thing, sometimes we misunderstand it totally. It's like some people pray for patience. They pray for tolerance and all those things. And they expect a package to pull up in front of the door. UPS or FedEx to pull up with a box posted from heaven saying patience.
Yeah.
And God puts them, or the master allows them to get into situation where they now have to exercise patience and tolerance.
Yep.
And they don't do it.
Yeah.
But they pray for patience and tolerance.
Pray for patience. We have a call on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Let me first commend you all on such a wonderful program. I've been listening it for a while, and it is very enlightening.
Well, thank you.
But there are a lot of things that have been circulating, and now I'm hearing information that some of it could be factual. I expected to hear some talks on it since we are revolving, the whole discussion is revolving around the whole issue of getting vaccinated and vaccination being the main measure to help us right now as a people. I there's a situation that exists in Senegal right now.
In where?
It is in Senegal.
Senegal. That's in Africa, right?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And it seems to be baffling the scientists, because Senegal is one of the countries that they're saying that was the heavily vaccinated. Most of the population was vaccinated, and then now they're having a spike, and they can't figure out.
It's Seychelles, not Senegal. Seychelles.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Wait, I know about the Seychelles. I was just going to tell them I didn't hear about the Senegal situation yet.
Yes. That was my bad. Thanks for the clarification on that. But I'm hearing this circulating, and I've been trying to get my hands on some documents that I can read, but I've not been getting much. But I was listening to the program, and I was hoping that in the whole talk about it, that maybe these issues, because persons would hear these issues and not having clarity on it, that could be things that would sway them also. So I'm hoping that if you all
well, to be honest, caller, sorry to cut you there, but I did make mention of that last week when the news broke out. The Seychelles in a program last week. We didn't go in there because we didn't go in there because we didn't have a lot of information ourselves. But for what we gathered, whatever we had, I shared it. It was a country where Seychelles is in the Indian Ocean, and they depend heavily on tourism. You know, it's a tourist-based kind of economy. It's a small island, probably, I think even smaller than Grenada. But apparently, quite a number of the people were vaccinated, and then they opened up with no protocols, nothing. You didn't need any what you call PCR tests and so to enter, because the entire economy is dependent on tourist arrival and so. So they just opened up without putting any precautions in place. And apparently a mass of people who came in reinfected a lot of the people. Because remember, we keep saying that getting the vaccine doesn't prevent you from getting COVID, eh?
Okay.
What the vaccine does is strengthen your immune system so that you could be more resistant. So some people, when they get COVID, it will last 7 and 8 and 10 days. If you are totally vaccinated, it may last 3 days, so the scientists say. The effect will be much less. Your chances of getting really sick and have to be hospitalized and go on a ventilator and all of that is reduced. So we did mention that, but of course, for your sake and others, we can do a little more research and we can talk about it again another day.
But also, because I have been following the story as well, they have a lot of individuals, most of the adult population is vaccinated, but then there is still a number of the adult population that has not yet been vaccinated. And you see, there lies the problem in most societies. You have a portion of your population vaccinated. Yes, that is awesome. That's wonderful, because then it means that less persons will be required to receive hospitalization or hospital care, which doesn't put a burden on your healthcare system. However, the percentage of the persons who have not yet been vaccinated, it would be ideal to say that, yes, well, the people who are vaccinated would not be able to transmit to those people, or the chances of them transmitting or what they're transmitting would be a lesser a strain of the virus. That would be an ideal situation. But when you open up your country to individuals who are coming in, then the chances for those people who are not vaccinated of getting COVID becomes higher. But then also you have to take into consideration in this situation, they have started seeing a spike, yes, but also the amount of death that they have had as a result of the that spike. I think only 2 persons
it was minimal.
Died, and those 2 persons could well be people who are unvaccinated individuals. So it's a spike, yes, but in what context is that spike? Is it a spike that requires persons to be hospitalized? Is it a spike where persons are getting severely ill? Or is it just like, you know how we have a normal flu going around in Grenada right now, where persons are getting ill, you have a little stuffy nose, you might lose your sense of taste, or, you know, something like that, where people don't require a lot of hospital care, or where they won't be getting severely ill, because that is what the vaccine is meant to do. keep you from getting severely ill, from developing things like chronic pneumonia, from developing this new fungus that they have identified in India, from developing things like multiple inflammatory disease, from developing whatever other diseases that can be developed from COVID-19. That is what the vaccine seeks to do. So I think we misunderstand really what the vaccine's purpose is. So when we hear about places or people who have been vaccinated still getting COVID-19, we are like, well, what's the purpose of the vaccine? The purpose of the vaccine is what it's doing right now. It is ensuring that when we have spikes of the virus, people don't die. That's basically what it's meant to do.
Okay, so thank you all very much for the enlightenment. It's just, I brought it up because the little article that I got, it just mentioned about the country was going back down on the lockdown.
Right.
That seems like serious, and then scientists was speculating because they don't have the facts as yet, because they're trying to figure out what alluded to the spike.
The spike,
and they were saying that it could have been, they gave two conditions that they thought. And one, as you said, it was true complacency that they were saying, and then they're saying that it could be that the persons who are vaccinated are infecting those who were not vaccinated.
Right.
Yeah. That was what I got. So I just wanted to get some more clarity. And thank you. You did a wonderful job. I am very happy that you two are the two that's running the program, because you all are doing a wonderful job today.
We take your compliments and we say thank you for listening. And please, whatever information you have, share it with others, and feel free to call at any time. We accept any call on any issue.
I will. Because I know the atmosphere that exists around it, and persons would feel more comfortable as information comes forth. So whatsoever I can do in that regard, I will.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Enjoy the rest of your day, brother.
You too. You too.
All right. Wonderful.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was following the story. I think up until yesterday, I was reading some more information. We have 2 calls coming in. Let me just... we seem to have lost both of them. One is coming in on the overseas. There we go. On the overseas line. Let's take that. Hello, good morning. Hey. The call's just coming and dropping. I don't know what's going on. Let's see here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Miss Duncan, and good morning, Mr. Bowler.
Good morning to you, sir.
Well, maybe some calls know when to drop with Papa. All right. Now, Mr. Bowler and Miss Duncan, let me quickly say here, since after the revolution, Raymond Matthew B sing a song, Stop Confusing Me.
Yes.
And since then, since after the revolution, I started thinking for myself, because most of the upper echelon in the revolution that was, have the most issues with imperialism, soon as the revolution collapsed, they all head for the land of the imperialists.
Capitalism.
And I'm saying all of this to say that why I'm thinking for myself these days. Mr. Bola and Ms. Duncan, listen to this. The cruise ship terminal in St. George's, no. St. George's bus terminal, no. The National Stadium, no. The Ministerial Complex, no. Even when Mr. DeSavrier had also cleaned up the lagoon,
no.
They said no. Today, when you go there, all those who say no, they are the one enjoying the best of the hospitality in there.
Yeah.
And today, Mr. Bowler and Ms. Duncan, the same people that said no to all of these successful projects, they are the same people today who are saying no again. And that's the reason why every time a general election is called, the majority of the electorate go out there and they said,
no.
No to them. Constitutional reform, no. But I like that. You have a blessed day. You take care. I think you bring us down to the end. I don't know that we have time to take any more calls.
Do not.
We are at 11:45 there, about when we are supposed to break to take in the national report. So we want to thank all of those who contributed to today's program. Whether you called, whether you sent in a WhatsApp or put something on the live, we really do appreciate. For those who did not get the opportunity to get in on the program, we regret. We probably need to open up our lines much, much earlier. Maybe Miss Duncan, I had to put something on your tongue so that you could talk less.
You,
to talk less so more of our callers could get in. Be that as it may, we thank you for being part of Hard Talk today. We are happy that some of you were able to get through, and we hope by God's grace and blessing we'll be up and about tomorrow again when we will have another program, and we definitely will try to open up the lines much, much earlier so that more people can get in. Please continue to listen to Hard Talk. Enjoy the rest of today. Enjoy the rest of the week. But remember the protocols. Remember, we are not yet safe. We may not have an active case, but COVID is still very relevant, and we need to do what is necessary to keep ourselves, our family, and our country safe.
All right, I like how you just push things about me out there and then just close so I can't, but that's okay. I won't get you good one day. It's all right. Guys, we have come to the end of our program for today, guys. In whatever you do and whatever you say, be safe and be secure and be responsible. I feel we need to add that in there. Not just safe and secure in what you do and what you say, but be responsible as well. It's been a pleasure being here with you. Remember to follow the protocols, not just for COVID-19, but to protect yourselves and your children against the flu that is going around, this common cold. It is only spread as a result of fluid. So if you have any runny nose, or you're talking without your masks and so on, and you have the flu, guess what? Most likely somebody around you is going to pick up whatever fluids you let out, right? So guys, we have to be careful, not just for COVID, but for the flu. And just keep in mind that just as quickly as this flu spread amongst our children, amongst our adults in our society, it could have easily been COVID spreading amongst our people. So do the responsible thing and follow the protocols. We've come to the end of our program. Have a wonderful day, guys, and stay tuned for the National Report. It has been a pleasure.